Hi everyone, Leah here from EurekaCrystalBeads.com with another fun beading video for you. Before I get started, just a quick reminder to go check out the rest of our channel, and if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and notification bell and you'll always know when we're posting new content. Today's project is a sleek, autumn-inspired earring design that uses a really fun wire wrapping technique, which is special here because we're going to learn how to wire wrap beads that are top drilled. So this could mean a briolette, this could mean beads like this, which are Czech glass leaf beads, and they're drilled just across the top, which is not like a normal bead, so we can't use a head pin. We have some lovely chain here, and then of course we have our ear wire. It's a nice simple design, but with those fall-inspired colors, it's going to be a nice little earring for you to wear through the fall. So let me give you a close-up of the beads we're going to be using. So these are Czech glass leaf beads, and like I said, they're drilled across the top. And what I have going on here is a dark to light gradation, which is just another element in the earring that's going to make it look pretty pleasing to the eye. And these may look similar, but when you see them flash in the light, this top one has a luster on it, so it will flash a little bit lighter than this one in the middle. So we do have that nice dark to light going on. Now I have some chain over here. I have 3 pieces of chain. My first piece is about 3/4 of an inch, and then I have this piece which is about an inch, and then I have this last piece which is about 1.25 inches or so. You can play with these lengths however much you'd like. You can have them start off a little shorter so that way the leaves sit a little closer to the ear wire. It's up to you, or you could go to town and have them be even longer. It's totally your call, but what you're going to want to do is when you get your piece of chain, the chain that we sell on EurekaCrystalBeads.com is sold by the foot, so you would just need a foot for this and you'd have plenty. What you're going to want to do is when you decide how short you want your shortest piece, how long you want your longest piece, you're going to want to just cut 2 of them and then cut 2 of your middle and then cut 2 of your short. So just make sure that you have 2 pieces of each of these 3 lengths, because obviously we're making a pair of earrings. So this is what I have left for the other side. As far as my tools go, I have my typical standard wire working tools here. I have my chain nose pliers, which are flat and smooth inside, and they taper to a point. I have my wire cutter here, and then I have my round nose pliers. And if you're not familiar with round nose pliers, they're like 2 ice cream cones. There's no flat edges, and they're just round all the way around the jaw of the pliers. That's what we'll use to make our loops. And lastly, the wire we're going to be using is 26 gauge artistic wire, and I love this stuff because it's really easy to work with, and this is also tarnish resistant, so you don't have to worry about it changing over time. Okay, so let's get started. Now I'm going to cut a piece of wire here. Honestly, about a foot will make this entire set of earrings, or at least this half. And it's pretty inexpensive wire, so give yourself plenty to hold on to and make sure you cut yourself a nice long piece. Now, what's helpful is working with a long piece here means we're actually going to waste less wire, which is good. That's why I like to work with longer pieces if I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my bottom leaf. For me, this is my darkest leaf, and I hope you can really see how beautiful these colors are. These are some of the Picasso leaves, and they have beautiful sort of muddled fall colors in there. I absolutely love them. And this is going to be the leaf that's going to go on my longest piece of chain. Now I'm going to take my wire, I'm going to feed it through that loop, and I'm going to leave about 1 inch or so on the other side. And this is pretty soft wire. You can see my finger very easily bent it here. Now I'm going to take my little tail of wire here, and I'll call this my working wire because it's the longer one. And I'm going to crisscross them right above my leaf, just like that. Now I want to take my chain nose pliers, and I want to take my working wire, my longer wire, and right where they're crisscrossed, I want to bend it straight up. So now I have my working wire coming straight up from my leaf, and I have my little tail kind of off to the side. Now it's our tail that we're going to wrap around our working wire. Now typically, my rule of thumb is you only use round nose pliers to make your loops. You never grip wire with your round nose because you can leave a dent if you grip too hard because there's no flat edge. But in this case, we're going to do a little bit of a cheat method here. So our chain nose, unless you're working with a pair that's very, very petite, where that's sort of the selling point of the chain nose, it's going to be a little bit too big to get in here because we don't want to be holding where the wires are crisscrossed. That's going to squish them into each other. We want to be holding right underneath that towards the leaf. So our round nose are actually going to be a little bit thinner, and they're going to allow us to get in there. So we're going to grip right there. And I'm not gripping hard. That's the key here. We're not going to grip hard, so we're not going to leave a dent. And we're not gripping hard because we don't have to grip hard. This is very thin wire, very easy to work with. There's no need for an iron grip here. So I'm going to take my little tail and I'm going to start to wrap it around my working wire. And I want it to be as neat as possible. Use your thumb and your forefinger to guide it into place. And you want about 2 wraps. Now what's nice is that if they don't look perfect, you don't have to worry too much about it because we're going to be covering these wraps, so you're not going to see them. But the neater they are to start with, just the easier the project goes. So definitely you may want to practice a little bit first if you're not as comfortable with wire wrapping. So now this little tail, I'm going to snip this off. And just like with a lot of my other wire working videos, if you've seen them, you'll remember that I always tell people to take their chain nose and we're going to tuck in that little bit of wire that gets left behind. You can see it right there. And no matter how close we cut, there's always a little something left, and we don't want that to scratch anyone's skin or to snag on a sweater or a scarf. It's all about the details here. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our chain nose, and I'm going to very gently grab that wrap from the outside, just like this. And I'm going to bend my working wire out to the side, just like that. Now we're going to make a loop, so I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and I'm going to grab the wire right where that bend is happening. As far as where you hold it on your round nose, whether it's down at the tip or further in, that determines how big your loop is going to be. We don't need a loop that's enormous, so you're going to want to stick a bit closer towards the tip of your chain nose pliers. I'm sorry, your round nose pliers. We're going to wrap this up and over, shift our pliers forward to get it out of the way so we can go all the way around. This is what we want to see. Now, the key here, and you might find yourself doing this a couple of times, and you're going to want to laugh at yourself every time you do it, and I still do it myself, is it is important to attach this to our chain before we wrap it shut. And you may find yourself, like I said, doing that every now and then where you're just into the rhythm of wrapping and you wrap it shut before you've attached it to anything. So we're going to go to the end link of our chain here. And we're going to thread it like a key onto a key ring right into that loop. So now we're going to wrap this loop shut, and because we're going to have enough room here, we are going to make sure that we use our chain nose pliers. We're not going to have that we're not going to break that rule here because we do have enough space to get in there. So when in doubt, always grab with your chain nose, but every once in a while, like I said earlier, you can have that little cheat method here. So I'm going to grab that loop from the outside and sandwich it flat in between the pliers. And I want to make sure that that link of chain that's hanging off of that loop is not inside the jaw of my pliers either. Sometimes if you're not looking carefully enough, that little link of chain could be inside your pliers, and if you grip it too hard, you could damage it. So you want to make sure that that's not in there. Now we're going to take our working wire here, and we're going to wrap it right over the wraps that are already there. Just like that. And now we can snip this off and tuck it in. Now you may remember something I said earlier about how the longer the piece you work with, the more wire you save. And demonstrated right here, normally if we had worked with a shorter piece of wire, that last tail, that last bit of wire that we cut off would have been a short little tail, and then it's a piece of waste. But it's actually the beginning of our long piece again, so it's going to get used. So you'll actually find yourself getting more use out of your wire if you can work with pieces that are a little bit longer. So that is our first little wrap. Now I'm going to show it to you one more time, but a little bit more fluidly. So if you want to see it done a bit slower and step by step, you can rewind the video a little bit, but I'm going to show it to you now a little bit faster for those who want to see it done a bit more fluidly, and we'll work on that next leaf. So this is the leaf that's going to go on my medium size chain. I'm going to feed my wire right through it, about 1 inch, crisscross it over like that. Bend my working wire straight up like this. I'm going to do that little cheat because I'm not going to grip hard, and I'm going to grab that wire. Now I'm not grabbing where they crisscross, I'm grabbing right under it in the direction on the side of the leaf. I'm going to Bend this out in that 90-degree angle. Helps make for nice, neat wraps. Do about 2 wraps using your thumb and forefinger to really guide it into place. And now we're going to snip this off and tuck it in. Just like that. Now, we're going to gently grab that wrap from the outside with our chain nose pliers and bend the wire to the side at a 90-degree angle. We're going to grab at that corner with our round nose pliers. Go up and over, shift your pliers so you can continue on. And now we have a loop that's ready to wrap onto our next piece of chain. Again, don't forget and wrap it shut before you get it attached to that piece of chain there. Feed it through like a key onto a key ring. Go back to your chain nose. We're not going to cheat anymore because we don't have to. And do a few wraps right over the wraps that are there. And we're going to snip and tuck. Snip it off and tuck it in. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that last leaf, and I will see you back here in a second to show you finishing up constructing the earring. Okay, as you can see, I have my final leaf wrapped onto my shortest piece of chain. Now I'm going to go to my ear wire here, and I'm going to use my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to swivel this loop open to the side. Whenever you open loops, you always want to swivel them to the side. So whether it's the loop on an ear wire or a jump ring, always to the side. Now I'm going to take each of those top links of chain and starting either longest to shortest or shortest to longest. In this particular style, it doesn't really matter too much whether you do one earring shortest to longest and the other one the same or different. They're all just going to sit very sleekly straight down. So I'm going to start with my shortest one here, get that top link on there, go to my medium length chain, and then my longest chain. Now, this chain that I'm using here, the links are very fine. I actually love using this chain for earrings like this or anything where I want to wire things onto it because the links are nice and large, so it's easy to get things like head pins or wired into them, but the chain is still very dainty, which I like. But because the chain is so dainty, it's really crucial that you make sure that you close this little loop completely. It's very easy for one of these little pieces of chain to just flip right up and slide right out of that loop if you have any kind of a gap there. So go to your chain nose pliers and nudge it back shut. And really you want to feel the very tip of that little loop grind just a little bit against the other side of it. That's how you know it's nice and shut. And you can even take your chain nose and ever so lightly nudge this in. Not enough to squish it, but just enough to push that opening completely closed. So here are our finished earrings. Beautiful, lightweight, very sleek, beautiful colors for fall, very neutral, but you can really play them up with other greens or even with cranberries. These sort of khaki olive colors would look phenomenal with cranberries. So yeah, this is a great little earring design. And again, you won't even know that you're wearing it because they're so incredibly lightweight, which is nice for an earring that has some length to it, has some visual on it. So people are going to see you wearing it, but you won't know you're wearing it, which I think is always a favorite thing for me. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to visit us on over at EurekaCrystalBeads.com for everything I used in this video. We're going to link you below in the description box as well, and hopefully we can satisfy all of your beading and jewelry needs. Bye.